You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible.
All right, folks, Joshua Brown, of course, the man who testified in the Bolton shooting case. Amber Guyger, of course, was sent to prison, shot and killed on Friday. Today, Dallas police announced that 3 men are wanted in his death. A news conference took place today in Dallas, where they revealed the details of that particular case. This is the video from that news conference earlier today.
Police Department, I'm over the Criminal Investigation Unit. So first, let me thank you for coming out on such short notice. I appreciate it. City of Dallas appreciates it, as well as the Dallas Police Department. As you know, Joshua Brown was shot and killed October the 4th of 2019. He was shot and killed at 4606 Cedar Springs in Dallas, Texas, which is why we gathered here today. First, I would like to acknowledge Joshua's family. We in the Dallas Police Department grieve with you. We understand how hard it is and how much pain is related to losing a loved one. No family member should have to suffer that kind of pain. I want you to know that the Dallas Police Department is working diligently on your behalf to solve this case. It's our policy that we pursue all murder suspects. We pursue them aggressively, we pursue them thoroughly with the hope of bringing closure to the family. As you know, I've said it before, that we value human life. We understand that there's some in the community that do not, but the Dallas Police Department does value human life. Through the dedicated work of my detectives, we have identified 3 suspects in the Joshua Brown murder. Jacquerious Mitchell, black male, 20 years of age. Michael Mitchell, black male, 32 years of age. Thaddeous Green, black male, 22 years of age. According to suspect Jacquerious Mitchell, all 3 suspects came from Alexandria, Louisiana, to purchase drugs from Joshua Brown. Thaddeous Green was the facilitator. He's the one that contacted Joshua Brown. As they drove to the offense location, Thaddeous Green gets out of the vehicle, has a conversation with Joshua Brown, which escalates into physical altercations, at which time Jacquerious Mitchell gets out of the vehicle and he states that Joshua Brown orders him back into the vehicle and shoots him in the chest. As he's laying in the vehicle, he hears 2 more gunshots. He says that Thaddeous Green shot Joshua Brown 2 times. According to the autopsy report, Joshua Brown was shot 2 times in his lower body. One was a through and through, and the other entered his body just below the spine, traveled upward, damaging vital organs. Thaddeous Green also took the backpack that Joshua Brown had, as well as the gun that Joshua Brown had. Michael Mitchell was the driver. He dropped Thaddeous Green off at an unknown location, and he took Jacquerious Mitchell to Promise Hospital to receive treatment. He was later transported to Parkland Hospital, where he is currently in police custody. We will execute a warrant for capital murder on him today. We also received numerous tips as it related to the killing of Mr. Brown, and in that we executed a search warrant at Mr. Brown's apartment, where we confiscated 12 pounds of marijuana, 143 grams of THC cartridges, and $4,000 in cash. We have also issued capital murder warrants for the other 2 suspects, Michael Mitchell and Thaddeous Green. I want to assure the citizens of Dallas that we will continue to be transparent and we will provide updates as they materialize concerning this case. We as the police department need your help in capturing the 2 fugitives that are not in custody. We've partnered with our federal partners and we're in pursuit of them as I speak. If you know the whereabouts of these 2 suspects, please contact your local police department or the Dallas Police Department at 214-373-8477 or 214-671-3690. These suspects are to be considered dangerous because they're armed. Again, I want to thank you for coming out under such short notice. I thank you for trusting us to provide you with true and accurate information. I thank you, our community members, for partnering with us and believing in us as we pursue these fugitives. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my detectives. I've said it.
Come on. Slight issue there. Let's go right our panel right here. Dr. Jason Nichols, Department of African American Studies, University of Maryland. Also, Kelly Bethea, Communications Strategist, and Melik Abdul, Republican Strategist. The mayor over the weekend, Jason, tweeted out to folks not to engage in wild speculation. Folks were on social media saying this was a plot. He was targeted. They went after him. And even now, even though they've come out and made this announcement, here people say, oh no, they planted these drugs. They said that to come out and say they found marijuana in this guy's apartment. But also there was a shooting that took place in November involving Joshua Brown. It took place outside of a strip club as well. And he said that he feared they were going to come back and harm him. What do you make of, again, people immediately saying, oh no, the cops, they're the ones who actually were behind the murder of Joshua Brown?
You know, I think it shows the lack of trust that many of our community have for law enforcement, and that's a reputation that law enforcement has earned. And I think Amber Guyger did law enforcement no favors with her actions to make people think that they can't trust law enforcement, that they can't believe in law enforcement. As far as what occurred, right now it looks like this was the case. I mean, he was selling marijuana, but marijuana, again, will be legal within a couple of years. We have people who are marijuana barons all over the country. This says nothing about his character. He had guns, he carried guns. As you guys, as Southerners know, many people in the South have guns. That doesn't make it, say anything negative about his character. The thing that did stand out to me about that press conference was the fact that they felt the need, even with the picture behind them, to say that these were black males. We saw that clearly on the screen, that the suspects were black males, but for some reason they had to, emphasize the fact that the suspects were black males. I didn't really understand what the need for that was, other than really to take a shot at people who were, maybe had some different ideas about what happened to Joshua Brown.
Kelly.
I don't believe this story. I'll just say it flat out.
Why?
Just by way of how the trial went, I don't recall the defense once cross-examining Joshua Brown regarding his character and potential criminal activity, potential possession or anything. Because in cross-examination, your job is to discredit that witness as much as you can. And during that time...
But if you did not know any of this,
they weren't investigating him.
You can't say the potential. I mean, if he had been convicted of drug dealing,
sure,
that's the difference.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is you're telling me that an entire defense team who's defending a cop didn't have the resources at their disposal to find out everything they could about their star witness in a high-profile murder trial?
I'm saying, but if you did not know,
what I'm saying is, I don't think there was anything to not know. This doesn't make any sense to me. Driving a total of 10 hours for a weed re-up, that doesn't make any sense to me. Having 3 people...
I mean, it's happened.
It happened,
it's not...
Louisiana has Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Shreveport. You're telling me you can't find any type of marijuana within state lines? You had to cross to Texas to find good weed for Louisiana customers? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well,
I think to the first question that you asked, Jason, I think this was another case of confirmation bias. People wanted to believe it, and I would go further. Yes, police is a part of it, but I also think it's race. It's easy to believe that a black man who testified in a case against a white cop, that the thing that happened to him happened because he was black or that he testified or whatever, so that part didn't surprise me. I was pushing back on the notion that, well, and to me, it actually didn't make sense that he would be killed after he gave testimony,
that too,
not before he gave testimony. If the conspiracy was true, that there was something that was, in the police department or whatever, to the point about, and I'm no marijuana aficionado, but 12 pounds is a lot of weed. It's a lot of weed. So I can definitely see people driving hours and hours and hours away outside of their state to get 12 pounds.
Well, I don't know that they were buying 12
yeah, right.
pounds.
Well, what they said.
And that's risky. If you already know that Louisiana
But people actually drive across state lines to get weight. And so.
And coke? Heroin, man.
First, you had a guy who played for the San Diego Chargers, of course, who got busted for funding where they were transmitting cough syrup from California to Texas. So the idea that people don't drive for drugs is just not true.
I'm not saying they don't drive for drugs.
But he was a supplier. I mean, if he had 12 pounds of marijuana, he was a supplier. He wasn't the person who was actually on the corner.
And that's another point
selling the marijuana.
I'm making. Like, if he's a supplier and the defense didn't know that at trial,
but why would they?
Make any
but
sense.
I'm not sure.
How do you not cross that?
But I don't know if there was no indication that he was involved in the criminal activity, then what basis would they have?
If you're able to get 12 pounds
let me just say one thing about the drugs. Number one, there's an old saying that I've heard from people who are involved in that business, and that is you don't poop where you eat.
Right.
So in many cases, people try to go, in distance, and who knows if they weren't intending to rob him.
Because Alexandria,
they thought
Louisiana,
he was alone
to Dallas.
with 12 pounds of weed.
Yeah. Here's what we know. What we know is, based upon people getting information, tips coming in, one of the guys who was involved in this, allegedly, was one of the people who got shot.
Yeah.
He was kind of a little pissed off by that.
In the chest, I think.
He's the one who's in the hospital who told the cops what the hell happened.
Yeah.
And so the other two have not, they're still trying to arrest them right now. We'll certainly hear more about this, and we'll have those details. And so, again, two individuals Dallas police are looking for. They have charged them with murder, and they're waiting to arrest them and look for them as we speak. And so we'll give you those details as they come available. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. The second annual Luxe Jazz experience taking place in Cabo, November 7th through the 11th. You're hearing, of course, that's Gerald Albright. It is an upscale destination with luxury accommodations, fine cuisine, top shelf libations, golf, spa, health, and wellness. So if you want to attend, you can go to lifeluxejazz.com to sign up. But those of you who don't want to go, you can still participate by going to gfntv.com. gfntv.com to watch the live stream. Get your live stream pass. It's 14 acts. Over 3 days, you'll be able to watch every single one of those concerts. I'll be broadcasting my show from there Thursday and Friday. But if you can't make it to Cabo, you can still participate by watching the live stream. So sign up at gfntv.com. It's $10.99, gfntv.com. 3 fantastic days of concerts, including, folks, Mark Curry, as I said, Joel Albright, Alex Bouillon, Raul Madon, Incognito, Pieces of a Dream, Kirk Whalum, Average White Band, Donna McClurkin, Shalea, Roy Ayers, Tom Brown, Ronnie Laws, and Ernest Quarles. It's going to be fantastic. Again, get your live streaming pass at gfntv.com. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. Bye.